What's up, guys? It's Steven from Cymatics. I'm actually super excited to bring you an awesome interview today. If you guys hadn't checked it out yet, the other day we released a book called The Art of Music Production, and it went absolutely off in the music production community. Pretty much we had gotten over 20,000 downloads in 24 hours. We had gotten 4,000 shares on social media within the first day, and the whole experience was pretty crazy to us, not because of how many downloads it got or anything like that, but just because of the amount of feedback we were getting from people saying they really enjoyed seeing what producers like Diplo, Cashmere, Vanek, Slander, like a bunch of these top-level guys were, the different success tips they were giving about production, you know. And the whole experience itself was pretty fun to work with all these different top-level people, and it was actually kind of tough, you know, because we had to go through managers, we had to go through labels, we had to email tons of people. We had worked months on this thing with your EDM, you know, which was a new thing for us, but the whole experience was pretty awesome. And one of the coolest parts is actually, while I was talking to one of the artists that were featured, Bombs Away, I had been talking to them a little bit about their interview for the book. And as I was talking to them more and more on Skype, I realized that they were sharing a lot of good information that was kind of a bit deeper than what they even shared in the book. So I thought a great idea would actually be to get them in an interview for you guys. And for those of you who don't know who they are, I mean, these guys have been nominated for an ARIA Award. They've had two singles go platinum. They have over 850,000 fans on Facebook, or about 200,000 on SoundCloud, and they're absolutely killing it, not just with their sound, because their sound's constantly evolving, but they're also killing it with their marketing. So the whole thing, I thought they'd bring a lot of value, you know, to the Cymatics community. And after I scheduled this interview, I was actually really excited by how it turned out, because they share a lot of insider information pretty much on how their music project works, how they came to be. And I think you can take a lot of this information and actually apply it to your own music project. And for all you guys who applied for the Titan beta, and everybody who's kind of been paying attention to that secret project, this is actually a cool opportunity, because during the talk, I had sent them the pack earlier that day, and they had taken a little look at it. And as we were talking, it wasn't even planned, but we had just started talking about Titan a little bit, and I share a lot of details that hasn't been released yet about the pack itself. So I'm actually pretty excited about that, and I know you guys are going to enjoy hearing about Titan. But other than that, hope you guys enjoy this interview. Make sure you take notes and rewatch this thing, because like I said, you're going to get a lot of value out of it, and I hope you enjoy it. Peace. What's up, guys? It's Steven from Cymatics here, and I'm actually super excited. I got Bombs Away here, and if you guys don't know who they are, they're two absolutely incredible producers who have been touring worldwide. They've created like one of the most creative brands, I would say, in the music industry. I haven't seen really many other music producers doing stuff like you guys. They've had 2 platinum singles, nominated for an ARIA Award, and have really accomplished a lot as producers. How's it going, guys?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Good to be here.
Yeah, good to be here. For those of you guys just watching this, we actually did like 12 minutes of this interview and had to restart because the computer crashed. And we're like, no, we had like such a good thing going, but it's all good.
Had a pretty good rant about some stuff.
We were ranting.
There's a bee in here.
We were actually, the computer froze and we were just ranting at the blank screen for so long. We thought it was still rolling. So.
It's all good. We'll get it. We'll get an even better take this time. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. I want to talk to a little bit about how you guys got started with production, because you know, for those of the people in our audience who may not have been following you guys have been doing this you guys have been in this industry for a long time. How did you guys get started with production originally?
Yeah, basically we started when we were like, I was probably 15 or something, and Tom would have been...
I was 11, and I had saved up all my money to buy Dance EJ. It was in grade 8. I remember I gave it to him. I needed to go to school. I couldn't go to the shops and buy it. It was Dance EJ 2.
I know where this is going.
Dance EJ 2 had 16 tracks as opposed to 8, and he got number 1. We spent all my money.
They only had Dance EJ 1.
I was so angry. Yeah, just don't get anything then, man. Bring my money back.
Did you guys take it back or no?
No, he couldn't take it back because he'd opened it and used it on the computer. Oh, yeah, give me a go. Oh, yeah, fuck.
And he didn't used to be able to bring games and stuff back to the shop because they're like, no, you could have just ripped it.
Oh, yeah, there was no protection against it.
So we started producing on Dance EJ 1.
Which literally came with, like, sample-wise, 2 songs worth of samples, all laid out at, like, just loops. That was it. You just basically got to arrange 2 different songs in however.
I think there was like 3 genres. It was like reggae.
No, oh yeah, Dance EJ was, and then there was reggae EJ, hip hop EJ. Yeah. They're all the same programs with just.
So we pretty much went from just muck around programs to like to FL2 when it was Fruity Loops.
They were the best programs we could find. I think Pro Tools existed back then, but
but
wasn't accessible.
No one could afford it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Couldn't have Pro Tools. That was ridiculous. You needed to have
a mixing desk to plug it into.
Yeah. $100,000 studio to even bother, and that's where like when we got FL number 2, a new world for us. Like, we were like, what? You can do this. We were kids. Like, and that's why, like, I think it's really important for young producers to just get started no matter what they start with.
But more back on track with the question. If we had FL2 kind of evolved into, as the program evolved, we downloaded the updates. We've been with FL since day one.
I use Ableton for mixes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
but production is FL.
All that. Sometimes we master in Ableton because you can just kind of push it into the red a bit more, but it's not what we should do.
Yeah, I mean, FL2, that had to have been a long time ago, right? What year was that?
2002-ish, maybe earlier. Yeah, like 2000.
Well,
2000.
I think the EJ thing was definitely year 2000 because I was in grade 8.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'd say year 2000 was the first time. Actually, no, before EJ, I was in Audacity.
Oh yeah. He'd get songs and just put them together and call them a mix, but I
didn't know what mixing was. I would get like literally like pieces of songs and like layer them next to each other and try and make a song with no tempo. It was really horrible. But that was so before Dance EJ. Dance EJ was the upgrade.
I remember we used to get South Park samples and we'd like just drop them on over the songs, and we thought we were.
Which this is a really weird revelation. We still do remix videos and stuff
of that sort of stuff,
which is kind of like an evolution of exactly how we got started.
Well, do you remember that Firestarter remix of South Park? It was Prodigy Firestarter, but it had Cartman samples on the top, and that was what got us into it. Someone else did. I don't know who did it, but that was at least 18 years ago that people were doing meme remix.
Yeah, there weren't memes didn't exist, but it was just remixing pop culture things. So even before our brand started, I always thought that was a funny thing to do. So
I mean, I think that's one of the things that you guys have had this explosive growth is because I haven't seen anybody really doing like the volume of those creative remixes and stuff, like the pop culture remixes like you guys. Like, dude, I was looking at the Donald Trump one, the Barack Obama one. Some of those get up to like 15 million views on Facebook. That's like ridiculous, man.
I think the biggest one's got 25 million.
Well, Damn Daniel, which is a meme video. Well, everyone knows Damn Daniel.
Damn.
When we remixed it, it went number one in America.
Yeah, we released that officially.
It went number one on Spotify in America, and it was just a dumb video we did for just to test out new sounds and put them up.
Well, that's the best part about doing those. We can literally make something that day, put it up, get it out to our fans, see if they like it or not, and if they don't, it doesn't matter because we haven't spent 3 months preparing a release for it. So
a big part of a release for us is record label timelines, whereas these videos, we can be producing something and have it up on the net that night or the next night.
Which is important for them to work too, because often that meme's only a week old and no one cares about it the next week. So,
but
has that helped build you guys like a fan base? Like probably contribute to you guys' Facebook growth and stuff, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The only thing is, like, sometimes we'll be at shows and then, like, there's, like, you can tell internet fans who have been fans from the memes and fans from our original music.
Mm-hmm.
And they get a bit upset because we don't really play the memes.
And they're like, hey, play Donald Trump. We're like, I don't really play Donald Trump memes. We do sometimes.
We do a couple. We do the Harry Potter one a lot, yeah.
But only, like, I just think it's fun. I think music should be fun more than anything else. Like, a lot of people take it very seriously.
And one thing a lot of people will notice about those in particular is the genres are all very different, which once again is because it's just fun. We get to be creative and do whatever we're feeling like that day. One will be trap, one will be bass house, one will be future.
I think that's a really cool thing about like music culture these days is that I feel like fans are so much more accepting. You're not just like a heavy metal fan or you're not like this certain thing. You just like listen to like all different kinds of good music, you know? And that gives a lot of flexibility as a producer because you get to do whatever, you know, whatever you're really feeling.
Yeah. Well, that brings us back to the album. When I say back, we talked about it earlier, but we haven't talked about it in take 2. So the album is a very big step creatively for us. So.
Yeah, it's some more, radio, Spotify driven, like a lot of different tempos.
A lot more songwriting rather than build-ups and drops.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I said in the last interview, and now I feel like I've recited it. And
Deja vu.
Yeah, we're really, really happy with this album because it's been 3 or 4 years of writing and sometimes the songs were too serious to release as banger club singles, so they got put aside for this album, and now we're really stoked to be able to put them together. And we use heaps of Cymatics all through it, so you probably recognize some stuff.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. We have like sometimes like a playlist going to the office. Just we'll hear something, and they'll link it to everybody in the office. We'll just start playing it. We're like, oh hell yeah! Like Tiesto recently used one of our guys, Marlon, his vocal samples, and he's been a huge Tiesto fan for a while, so that was pretty cool.
That's sick. That's
nice.
big.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, I remember a story. Marlon, he was his vocal sample got used at a festival we were at, and he was alone in the crowd. I guess he'd gotten separated. And he's like cheering and telling the guy next to him, like, yo, this is my vocals. Blah, blah. And the guy's like looking at him like, what are you talking about, man? But no, that's awesome, man. So I wanted to ask you guys, like, you know, you guys are making around doing these fun little like remixes using Audacity, FL2 and stuff. At what point did it start to go into like, hey, I want to make this like a career. I want to be a touring DJ versus just I'm doing this for fun and a hobby, you know, messing around?
Well,
We kind of still mess around. Like, that's there was definitely a point.
There was definitely a point where we decided it is what we wanted to do. We want to make it work and focus on a brand, build a brand, and then tour. Like, it was a plan. It was a thought out plan.
But it wasn't our first attempt.
No,
It wasn't our first brand. We had
we had a lot of failures, which taught us what not to do.
we had a
and
break.
how
We
to
had
do it. Yeah.
we had a breaks alias.
Oh, it was so bad.
Tom
we had
had
the worst photos. Oh,
we
were sitting kind of like this, actually.
Tom had a like a house alias kind of thing. It was like a electro.
No, it was
like,
Electro, yeah. I hated house. I like house now, but back then I hated it.
so we've done lots of different things, but probably like 7 years ago, we were running events at nightclubs, and we really were paying attention to the kind of acts that we were booking, what we were looking for in an act, and what our crowd was looking for from an act that we weren't necessarily finding from the artists that were available. So we're like, man, let's do the music we're doing, but in this kind of way, and focus on giving someone a recognizable brand to book as a promoter, and also people to enjoy, but also letting it be an easily bookable, easily relatable brand.
I think also from that perspective, we got to see that it was working for those artists. We got to see that they were touring, they were making money, they could make a sustainable brand from what they were doing. So we got to see their insight from a promoter's perspective.
Yeah. It's almost like you guys reverse engineered it in a sense, right? Like taking exactly like what people are like, balance what people are looking for versus what's already working out there, and you got to like really almost get behind the scenes. I think I'm a huge advocate of that, like trying to find success and just like reverse engineer it. But like most producers, they like sit in their bedrooms and they don't know the actual business side. They don't know what it actually takes to tour, you know?
But we also really did enjoy it, which was always important. And I think if you don't enjoy it, you can't do it.
Well,
you've got to have that passion there.
I think having two of us made a huge difference, because it let Tom literally sit in the bedroom producing and learning.
No, we had an office.
The bedroom.
It wasn't a bedroom. It was a bedroom.
It was the front room. The front room of the house. We had a couple of desks set up.
The acoustic treatment was just super glued to the wall. When we pulled it off, it pulled all the paint off. It was a mess.
Dude, I think me and Drew had that same problem. Pretty much, he had we had some sound treatment set up, but like the best thing we did was Drew had like blankets from the thrift store that he literally just nailed up like on all the walls, and it worked like a charm. It was like amazing.
Yeah, ours was those like $20 foam boxes of triangle foam.
Before we've
still got some. You can't see it. We've got a little bit up on the roof.
Nah,
still.
that sounds better quality. But before we did this internal acoustic properly, we did have curtains up, just temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Curtains are good.
But yeah, like from the business point of view, like we didn't really change our music to suit. That was probably an advantage. We made the brand suit the music that we liked and that we were interested in, and that we saw was working at the time and stuff. So the brand is still definitely based around the music, but we had the opportunity as nightclub promoters to really see what people wanted from the act. And a big thing was, and some DJs and producers will disagree with me here, I think a lot of people when they go to a show want to see an actual show, like a performance show as well, not just a DJ standing there pushing some buttons.
Yeah,
But
this is
that's,
getting very.
that's in our genre of our brand.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a more serious house type
More
guy,
house and more
or
trancey,
maybe
yeah.
big room, then your fans expect something different. So it's about finding out what the people that listen to your music like, and building a brand to suit them as well, and also suit yourself.
Yeah, I think especially with like the day of social media and stuff, like me and Drew try to do this as much as possible. We tie our like personal brands in with it, you know, because people like, they feel like they know you, you know, when you're out there posting pictures, videos, showing a little bit of your human side, stuff like that. That all contributes to their likability, even how they like your music. Have you ever had like a certain artist that, let's say he comes out with a song that's like not that as good, but you're like a hardcore fan. You're like, no, this shit's awesome. But they're like, other people are like, I'm not really sure. That's like, to me, that's like a really like emotional attachment. It's like a different part of the marketing that's really important when we talk about like brand image and all that, you know?
And in the other end of the spectrum, I've had a favorite artist who I love their music, and I'd met them, and they just weren't a very nice person. I'm not going to name names, but then I just couldn't like their music. I could not enjoy their music anymore because they're dickheads.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, just
What's the saying? You should never meet your heroes.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
We've been lucky enough to meet quite a few of our heroes, and 99% of them have been amazing.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you were going to say they would be crap.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
99% of the people.
I don't think dickheads can be successful. Like
they can. I can think of a few that
there are a few, but
as an overwhelming
in general, you got to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Not just to get stuff, but just to enjoy it.
Like I think a majority of people in this industry are pretty good dudes, you know, and girls as well. Because
girls can be dudes.
Dude, yeah, like cool dude.
Yo, what's up, dude?
So yeah, I think in this industry we're quite lucky. Like it's not like the acting industry where you've got huge egos and some people might not be what they are portraying. But
yeah, there was actually a period where there was a lot of fighting and friction, but everyone seems pretty cool. Everyone's collaborating with different genres and stuff now, so it's good now. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. Lots of even listeners are. Maybe it's because of Spotify and more streaming, but they're a little bit more open to more genres now.
Yeah. And I also think it's like normal. It's normal for so remember, I don't know, like back in the day, like especially when like Skrillex was first dropping his music, or maybe even when Flume was first dropping his stuff, like you got this whole like, oh, this is like a whole new genre, you know, that vibe.
Yeah.
But like that happens every time somebody says, check out this song now. Somebody's like, hey, check out this, I got this new track or something, and then all of a sudden it's like a whole other genre. It's almost expected now to hear different types of music, you know?
Yeah. And if you want to come back to the brand thing, like some of the biggest artists of this current generation
started a trend.
Have started the entire genre. Like Skrillex has done it.
Skrillex did it. Martin Garrix did it. He started that whole percussion-y big
Dead
room
Mouse
sound.
didn't quite start the big proggy stuff, but he was right at the front of it.
I love the prog.
Flume did his thing. Will Sparks here from Australia started literally took Melbourne Bounce from a niche sound being played in a few venues to the rest of the world. And those guys at the front of the wave. I mean, we were doing a bit of Melbourne Bounce stuff before it was called that. But if you pick those people, a lot of them are at the front of that wave. You know, you've got like Dylan Francis and Diplo and all those guys, Major Lazer. I think a big part of it is finding your own sound and sticking to it.
I also think there's like a little misconception, I guess you could say, about like, okay, so we were talking earlier about the overnight successes and stuff. People see these people like maybe when they do finally hit that sound that starts to take that forefront, you know, they think like, wow, I need that specific sound, but they don't see all those failures. They didn't see your failed music projects, you know, they didn't see all that stuff behind the scenes that were leading up to that point of releasing that, coming out with that sound, you know?
And that's the stuff that's part of your education as an artist. You need to, not need to, some people never experience it, but I think it's important to understand if you're an artist trying to break it, don't get discouraged after 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years because you're not where you see someone else. Because your journey's your own, you know. The day you give up might be the day before.
Here we go, Philosopher Jones.
No, I'm just saying. I believe that
the day before you make it, or the day before something takes off. Yeah,
exactly. So a lot of these overnight successes have been 5 years or 10 years or 10 weeks before they make it. But if you bail on it before you get to the point where you want to be, then you're your own worst enemy there. So
just keep doing it.
Well, that's right. And if this wasn't our full-time job, we'd probably still be doing the same thing on weekends. I definitely would still be. So I think that's important.
Yeah. What would you guys say has been like the absolute best move of your career, if you could like somehow pick one?
I don't know.
Hard. It's definitely hard.
We've made some bad moves.
Yeah, we've made bad moves.
We could talk about a bad one. What's the biggest mistake you've made then?
Biggest mistake? Yeah, there's too many to pick from.
Well, I can think of things that have happened that aren't necessarily mistakes. They've just changed our mindset and kind of pushed us the wrong direction. Like, I think a big thing that happened was about 2 years after we really started and were releasing, we had some momentum. We started listening to our record label and what they wanted. We started trying to do what they wanted rather than what we wanted. And we kind of just got lost in this abyss of trying to fit their niche.
Yeah,
this was requests. And
after 2 platinum records.
Yeah.
We started getting more and more advice from more senior people in record labels. And there was a point where we listened to them, and that set us back about a year or so, like, because we really tried to do a thing that wasn't what we were feeling.
It wasn't natural.
And it wasn't natural to us. So a mistake we did was not doing what we want to do, because we're the ones playing shows, we're the ones touring, we were the ones in front of people every single weekend or a couple of days a week and on tour. And then we were getting advice from basically record label guys,
I think that snare could be louder. What about if you put a female vocal on that instead of that sturdy bass?
Use less cymatics. That's bad advice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as extreme as that. That was the whole situation. It just changed our mindset that little bit, and it made a big difference. So
comes back to people starting trends or being at the forefront of trends. I think to do that, you've got to be your organic self, and you've got to really just do what you're feeling. Now we're kind of going around in circles, but if someone's giving you advice, I'm not saying don't listen to it, but just make sure it's in the same direction that you were feeling already.
Yeah. So, I kind of want to transition a little bit here and talk a little bit about more production-related stuff for our community, because I know they'll love to know like what kind of VSTs you're using, different production techniques and stuff. But do you guys have a favorite VST?
Yeah, Serum.
Probably Serum at the moment.
Nothing beats it. You can literally draw your LFO in. Like, you can't do that in anything else. It's amazing. It's so fast for making anything you want.
I mean, dude, we pick Serum too, obviously by far, and like we made a stand actually a while ago that says like the reason we only come out with Serum packs is because we were like we're looking at the industry itself and what people are using. We're like, wow, the Serum's so much more advanced. It feels like than other VSTs.
I'm surprised nothing else is trying to compete with it.
Well, in saying that, we've had Massive for 7 years or something like that.
Oh, and when you go back to it, it feels like you're just clumping around in the dirt. It's so slow. You can't link anything. You can't.
And I feel they got to where they were, and they were one of the most used VSTs.
Yeah.
And there was a few years, probably 3 years.
It is wavetable based too, but they didn't explain it and get it through your head.
And I don't think they updated it enough or quick enough, and they very quickly got overtaken in a period of about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I think Serum's way more visual as well. Like the way the whole program's like laid out, it's like more user friendly. You don't have to.
Yeah, I downloaded. I bought it, downloaded it, watched their tutorial video, and could instantly use it. Literally within hours, I knew how to use the entire VST. Like, given most of the time I don't watch a tutorial, I'll just sit there pushing stuff and working out what it does. But yeah, for any VST ever, that's the fastest I've ever learned how to fully use it. Even all the effects racks, the way that you can. I mean, you can change the sequence of the effects rack. What VST ever had that option? It's crazy.
All right, guys, I got a really good question here. I'm sure a lot of people are interested. So a lot of producers haven't been on the touring side of things yet. What's you guys' best tour story, or at least a good one?
Well, it might not be our best, but it's the first one that comes to mind.
Azealia Banks.
The Azealia Banks one's good. We were just in backstage at a festival. Where was it? Stereo.
One of the big Australian festivals.
Yeah. and Azealia Banks comes running into the artist area. Everyone's having their lunch, chilling out, and she just starts running in.
Can we say this on the video? Yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah, everyone knows it happened.
Yeah, it's not a fact.
We're not making it up.
Screw
it's
it.
not defamation. She started throwing chairs at like random people, like
Just rampage.
Another band's sound guy had unplugged one of her things on stage.
It was just a tech thing that happens
Like,
at big shows.
Yeah, and she just lost her mind. And she'd been yelling at everyone else all day, so it's expected. It was just pretty intense. But that's not my favorite story. My favorite story is we were with Mighty Fools backstage at Creamfields, and they made him drink this weird Dutch vodka, and it had a piece of grass in it, and he ate the piece of grass.
It was,
oh my God.
Yeah,
it was the drunkest I've ever seen him. But usually he gets drunk and it's just like, oh. But he was literally kicking down the door of who was there, like Tiesto. He was kicking down all the other artists' doors, just going, "Who's ready to party?" Just running in.
But this was at like 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, no one else was even drunk yet.
So early. Us at Mighty Fools really did a number on us that time. That was pretty good. Lots of fun stories like that. I mean, been lucky enough to tour with lots of cool people. Met heaps of good friends on tour and stuff. That's the main thing that we take away from it.
There was a few tours where we were with people like Timmy Trumpet and LMFAO for the whole tour, and it's a really good bonding state to be in because you're drunk and then you're hungover, then you're drunk and then you're on a plane together, and
Yeah, I mean, I've heard from a lot of people that touring is tough. You know, just so many plane rides and not enough sleep, and it's very grueling on the body.
Well, with festival tours, you're with everyone, so you kind of got everyone working together, and you've got that energy there.
And you've got someone looking after you generally.
There's always tour managers, and it's a lot easier. But yeah, we've done 3-week tours where we've got a flight every day, and it's just
actually the last tour we did of America. That was definitely the hardest because we didn't have time to do a road tour.
We did one like 2 before that was way harder.
The one with this.
Yeah, that one wasn't that bad. There were some long hauls, but it wasn't as long. We did one that was like 4 weeks, and we had a flight every day. And literally for 4 weeks, we had no more than 2-3 hours sleep a day.
Yeah, that's what gets you.
And after that long, trying to you're literally getting 15 minutes sleep in an airport chair, like here and there. And you just feel like a zombie. You don't even know if it's real life anymore. You're just walking around.
It's pretty crazy.
It's a wild headspace to be in.
It's probably actually one of the hardest parts of our job. Like playing the shows isn't what we get paid for. I don't feel that's the funnest thing. I would do that for free any day of the week. If you're a promoter, don't listen to that. But it's the traveling and that getting to different shows and 16-hour flights and just the weekend just gone. We landed at 8, 9 p.m. You have dinner, you go to the show, you're there till 4, 5 a.m. and your flight's at 7, so you got to get up at 6. And then you're only in towns for maybe 10 hours if you're lucky.
And everybody at the club expects you to be the drunkest guy and have the biggest party, but they get to go home to bed, and we have to just keep going.
So yeah, that's definitely something that you've got to be aware of, but it's certainly not a deal breaker. It's an amazing lifestyle, but you've just got to be aware that your health comes first and you've got to stay alive too.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's also just keeping your brain occupied, sitting there waiting.
We do a lot of work on planes.
Yeah, a lot of work and reading books and.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, dude, I think that's a lot of things that producers don't undervalue, like just reading. Like I sit here and I read all different kinds of books of successful people and try to figure out what they're doing to become successful, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's there is good value in plane time. Actually, planes, a lot more planes in Australia and over in the States, you guys did it first, but have been adding Wi-Fi to flights. Like, part of me, I really liked that at first.
Yeah, I found it distracting.
I was like, yes, I can get more work done. But then I'm realizing that those 4 or 2 to 5 hour flights, I used to use that time to reset and force myself to like read and turn off because I was away from it from emails and organization for a little bit. But now there's Wi-Fi. I can't even get away from stuff on planes. So I actually am feeling like I kind of wish I had more time to chill out on planes and relax.
Cool. All right. Well, I kind of want to segue into, as we start closing up here, what advice would you give like a new producer, let's say, who's like pretty good, he's been producing for like a year and stuff, and he's trying to build this thing into a career? Because I think a lot of people in our community are at that stage to where they're getting pretty good at production and stuff, they're leveling up, and they're just trying to break through that point to where they can actually make some money off of it and start doing it for a living, maybe quit the day job or not have to deal with that kind of stuff, you know?
Well, my first answer before in the theoretical story, they were already good at production. My first answer was going to be use YouTube videos. When we started, we didn't have them. There was no tutorials. We literally had to push all the buttons, click this, click that, work out what everything does.
I know.
Don't sit there wasting your time to do that. If you ever think that you don't know what's going to happen, don't know what you're doing, just type it into YouTube. It'll tell you what to do. Somebody's learned it before. It's the fastest way to learn, and it's such a huge asset to have right there.
And I mean, there's so many good tutorial guys like this, Peep This and Seamless.
Seamless is boss.
Those channels are like the equivalent of a $50,000 production course, you know? Like, there's a lot of production schools around now who are making a lot of money off teaching production. I think audio engineering is a good thing to go to school for, but production and creative writing is something that if you're dedicated, you can really find your own style. Just on YouTube at the moment, it's such a valuable resource. But you did say they're already, so someone's already producing.
So they're dope as shit. All right,
they're already good.
Now they need to get a brand.
First step is send it to me.
We've got a record label, Bomb Squad.
Send it to me and I'll check it out for our label.
It's info@bombsquad.com.
No, info@strike3productions.com. I try and listen to all the demos that I get. Like, it's one of my favorite.
If you do have us on Facebook,
you might have just opened up the floodgates here. This interview.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just me. Like, lots of record label A&R guys will listen to your demo, but when you send it in, don't attach them to the email. Sometimes my email will clog up with like 7 meg MP3 attachments, and like 1,000 of them is 7 gig, and that'll kill my inbox. And so use when you're submitting something to a record label, if you think it's good enough, make it very clear, have all your links, and tell people who you are in less than a paragraph. Have a SoundCloud link and a Dropbox download so we can download your MP3s and check it out.
Because SoundCloud quality sucks.
It does. But more importantly, if the songs are good, start building the brand right now. Start finding the people that will like it, because as a record label, it's not whether I'm looking for somebody who's already got a big brand, but I'm looking for somebody who understands that they're responsible for doing the work to make their brand where it needs to be.
A lot of people don't understand that the record label doesn't do any branding. They're only going to release the song. I mean, I don't want to bag out record labels here, but they don't do anything for your song. If there's no promotion behind it, they'll do a little bit if they believe in it. But if not, they're just going to put it on the internet.
And this is very different to how things were 5 years ago as well.
Yeah.
Now, because music is turning over so quickly, I think the brand is your responsibility more than anyone else's.
Obviously, you start trying to get a manager around this time, and then they deal with this, but then they're going to take a big percentage. So if you can do it.
I think it's all about social media. You know, you got to learn how to, because like at the end of the day, whether you get a manager or not, whether you get a record label or not, like you can't leave your success in someone else's hands. That's kind of the way I look at it. You got to take control and like learn how to use like today's tools. You know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Like start building the brand.
And even a step back from that, Photoshop and video editing programs, so you can make your own graphics, make your own videos. And even if it's simple, just literally sit here in front of your webcam and
use YouTube
and talk to your fans, talk about what you're doing, make videos of you making your melodies.
Well, like a more specific thing that people can action right now if they're watching this is go and do a video tonight on your phone. I mean, most phones have got better video cameras than our video camera did a few years ago. Do a video, show your personality to people who might be listening to your music, run through some of your production, but on a personal basis, and put that video up on Facebook and see what people think.
And Snapchat while you're there.
And Snapchat, etc. But
I think that's definitely true. Dude, you look at people's Facebook pages that are usually smaller producers, they post once a month. How many times do you guys post?
we try and do it every single day. We try and keep in touch every day at around 6 o'clock.
But everyone's peak times are different. It honestly depends on your fan base.
Yeah, I mean, we post 3 times a day, and I've seen like your EDM because I'm friends with Lucas who runs our Facebook over there. I mean, dude, they're posting nonstop, and the traffic's not slowing down. They're one of the biggest they probably are the highest traffic EDM sites. So if you want to get exposure, I just tell people like, dude, you got to start putting stuff out there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Content is king at the moment, and this is all assuming the music's already there. Like we've already established that the music is good. Mm-hmm. Now the step is to get it out there.
Yeah, content that you can incorporate your music into. It's hard because sometimes people don't have 3 minutes to listen to a song. So you've got to do something interesting in 20 seconds that'll get their attention and have the song in the video. Sometimes you've got to do other things that aren't direct music, like
and that might ruffle some feathers as well. Some people are like, oh, well, I'm a producer. I only produce music. Why should I have to be a brand manager, a company CEO, a social media expert, a video editor, a graphic designer? And that's perfect. But maybe you don't. But
15 years ago, that would have been fine if you just want to be the lead guitarist and hopefully find a band that's also amazing.
Like maybe you don't have to do that, but the chances of being discovered just on a song that you happen to you're lowering your chances by not doing the work for yourself, because at the end of the day, as a producer or as a DJ, you are the CEO of your own company, and you have to act like that and do the work that's involved, even if it's not directly related to the songs itself. This is all assuming that the music is at that stage.
Yeah, and for everybody watching this, I'd say like the biggest thing right here, if you think about what they're saying and stuff, is that like, you know, you got to put yourself out there. You got to try new things. Like, I mean, you guys have been so creative, you know, and you've had multiple failure music projects for the past 15 years. You guys have done different stuff in the industry, came at it from a different angle. Even if you look back at our history with Cymatics, what you guys don't see is that, you know, me and Drew have had multiple failed music projects. We've had cold emails we've sent out to all different people in the industry with no answer. We've had failed companies and stuff. And just like Bombs Away here, like, it takes a lot of hard work, and it takes massive failure and massive, almost like breaking barriers of what you think is right in your mind. Just try stuff, you know? And that's what it's going to take.
A big thing for us as well is not everyone can afford to spend 18 hours or more every day working on their brand, because they've got day jobs and everyone's got to survive before they take that leap. Mm-hmm. But for us, we were working day jobs until, say, 5:30, 6 o'clock, getting home, and then working till midnight and going to bed. Most people watch TV during those hours and stuff. I know a lot of producers watching this.
Put your TV in the bin.
A lot of producers watching this won't do that, because if they're interested enough to be watching this video, then they've obviously taken that step, and they're watching this instead of TV.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw the TV out. And just
TV is good. Sometimes you need a break. Having a good workflow is really important too.
But it can build bad habits too.
Oh, that's why I said good work.
I would say for a lot of people, like, I think if you really, like, if we were to take the average producer that hasn't made it yet, hasn't built a career, and we were to audit their day, I bet you if we could punt 3 hours of leisure off every person, where they're just like hanging out, not doing anything. I'm like, use that to build your project. Use that to get better. Use that to you know, build your following on social. Like, do something, you know?
Yeah, that's right. And even if, I mean, for us, the leisure time is the production time. The work time is building the brand around the music.
Yeah. But let me backtrack a little bit here. Me and Combs, who's our roommate, also a producer, he's got another studio in the backyard.
We've got 2 studios at this house.
We've been calculating and manipulating, trying to find workflow, day plans, and all that, leisure time included. And leisure is important. Having a break is very important. You've got to go away and come back. Obviously, you don't sit around just doing nothing. You go out and you specifically do something that's not sitting in your studio. Then you can come back with fresh ears, fresh eyes, and sit there and get back to it. You're excited to be there again. So,
I like a lot of that stuff. Yeah, so I just want to go ahead and tell the audience here, what should they look for in this new album? You know, I want to point them your direction, make sure you guys get the support and stuff.
Bangers.
No. it's very different to our straight down the line club stuff. A lot more vocal melodies, a lot more writing, a lot more feature vocalists.
Production wise, it's actually probably more like the meme videos, more future bass, trappy sort of influences rather than
different tempos.
Yeah, lots of different tempos.
I'm excited to hear all the cymatics in there.
It's. I mean, I'd like to watch you listen through the album because you'd be like, that's mine. It's basically your album, man.
We always change the envelopes and always do a pitch adjust, especially with drums because we like to get the drums on pitch. But so that you might not recognize them, but yeah.
I mean, dude, I try to tell people that's the whole point of our the stuff we put out there. It's not like, hey, just use this cookie cutter in. It's like, dude, you have this, use it as a starting point, and then take it any direction you want to. Like we try to make stuff as high quality as possible, but then our other goal is to make sure it has like the most creative freedom as possible. Like our new pack Titan that's still in the beta right now, we've been testing out with different producers and stuff. We like test all different skill levels, all different genres because we want it to be high quality and like up the production without hindering like creative freedom, because that's like the most important thing to artists is discover their own sound. You know, we can't find that for them. That's up to them. We can just give them like tools.
And I think that's why with your packs they're so widely used as well, from brand new bedroom producers to guys like Tiesto.
You say use them as tools. Like you've got the what's it called, Savage trap drums.
Mm-hmm.
I usually use those for like house. But when I'm doing like a bass house track, I'll go to the opposite way around. I often find I'm in the different genre samples for the opposite genre I'm making or something and stuff like that. So, but what's good about them is they are still listed, and I've listened through them. I know everything that's in those. I know what sort of snares are in Infinity's the best.
Tom actually just goes to bed with the Cymatics packs playing on his iPod. Just listen. That's actually what people ask what music producers listen to when we're not producing. It's just Cymatics packs
that wouldn't work
on repeat.
That wouldn't work because you need to know the names and where they are in the folders too.
Dude, I'm glad you said you liked Savage and Savage and Infinity a lot, because Titan is pretty much a fusion of those two. We wanted something that's like the size of Infinity with the variety, but then also kind of have a lot of that hard hitting stuff like Savage had with the 808s and all that good stuff, you know.
I just listened through the first pack, the first sip of the Titan pack, and I noticed there's a lot of really, pots and pansies sort of sounds under the snares and stuff, and it sounds fun. I'm excited.
I call it like water tank trap, like real
clangy.
Real reverbs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point, is to like keep evolving the sound, you know, as much on our end as possible.
And what I said again, every pack is very different. Like some of your snares are really dry, some are more wet. Mm-hmm. And when you know what's in those packs, you can go through and get them when you need them. You're sitting there, I need this sound. You go to it and get it. It's like, it's good to have all of them.
And I mean, like at this point, like we're fortunate enough to be able to work with a team of over a dozen different producers working on the pack. And Drew is literally, like when these packs come out, they're 2,000 plus samples and stuff. Drew's literally cut 2,000 samples from the pack. And that's what's left over because we don't want any filler and stuff. And it's so much of an advantage even when it comes to mixing, just to like use more high quality kicks rather than trying to polish a turd, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And I think it shows that you guys are not just going, you're not building up to fill the pack up, you know? You've got so much good content that you're chopping out stuff that isn't quite at that level. It makes the whole pack really reliable as well. You know there's going to be really good stuff in there.
And I mean, dude, the secret to us is we've conducted like hella surveys. We have an audience of like probably close to 1 million now, just across all the different socials and email lists and stuff. And we just like listen. Like we're like expert listeners. Like we survey, we listen to people, we read comments all the time, like thousands of comments, and like literally have spreadsheets of what people are looking for, just so we can like really pinpoint what producers are like really wanting, you know?
Yeah, it really shows as well, because the new pack from you guys is so on point with what people are asking us to produce that we haven't even yet, or we are, especially that some of the harsher reverbs on the new stuff, some of the more clangy sounds.
There was something that I was thinking of the other day, and I can't remember what it was, and it was something I thought I should tell you guys for feedback.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Dude, anytime you have suggestions, man, just hit up me or Drew, and we'll include it in the pack.
I think it was on the snares. I wanted like a mono layer that accompanies the snare, so you could kind of put one in there wide and then have your mono one sit on top of it. Like,
yeah. The funny thing is, Titan has a really big selection of synth one shots, and the funny thing is that whole section got added just because I'm not going to drop any names, but a really big producer was asking us like, dude, you should include these, and we're like, because they were showing us how they manipulate the samples and stuff. So we're like, all right, let's do it. I just had the whole team like build out like a whole collection of them, you know.
I've actually recently become a fan of synth one shots because 3 years ago there was no sample packs that had decent quality of synth shots. You had to use a synth to get the quality. So
especially if you're good at playing with samples, you know, like that's why I like FL, because like what you guys do with the different samples and stuff, I think is like so creative, you know.
Well, samples are a completely different creative flow as well to using a synth. So you're using a sampler, changing the pitch envelopes and stuff like that, rather than changing the waveforms and all that. So
cool. All right, guys. I think we pounded out. We got a lot of good stuff in here. This interview's running 40, 50 minutes now. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you guys coming in. I know there's a lot of good gems in here for you guys watching that are really gonna enjoy. And I highly suggest rewatching this interview over and over again because they shared everything from like how they're doing their marketing, how they've approached production, how they built their career. And you guys need to be like reverse engineering this stuff and taking it seriously. That's what all the top level people do. They study other successful people. But yeah, you guys can find them on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spotify. You guys probably got a website, right? Is it?
Yeah, let me see your swagger.com.
Yeah, we need to change that.
No, it's all bombswaymusic.com.
Yeah.
But it's just
the same
no one really uses websites at the moment anyway. So just Instagram, Facebook, all the usual
Unless
stuff.
you need to go get samples, then that's what I use websites for.
Yeah, I use.
All right, guys. So, yeah, everybody go check them out. And, hey, guys, I really appreciate you coming on. We got to do this again sometime, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Especially if we can get those samples that got cut from the packs. Can we get a link to all of those?
I heard there was 2,000 secret samples
per pack. So that's probably like 20,000 samples laying around somewhere.
Well, dude, I need to. Yeah, I'll send you guys. We got these terabyte Cymatics drives that just have everything, pretty much. Yeah, we just call them motherload drives. Yeah,
you should do a giveaway with some of them. That'd go crazy.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a physical giveaway.
Yeah, no, that's what we have them for. I haven't announced it yet, so if you guys are watching, you might not see it for another couple weeks.
Yeah,
or something,
we broke it.
We do have the secret motherload hard drives that we'll be doing some cool giveaways and stuff. Cool. All right, guys, I appreciate it, and hope you guys have an awesome day.
Yeah, it's nighttime now. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah,
thanks, man.